everyone, good morning and welcome to another wavelength. I am Waveney, your host, and every week I bring you tips and strategies geared towards inspiring, connecting you, and influencing you to being your best in your job and career. Alrighty, and welcome to December. Okay, we are in the final month of the year, and it's exciting. I'm not sure where you may be viewing this from, if you're on the island or if you're from another place, but Christmas is a really exciting time of year here on my island, and for me, I love Christmas. So on my island we have our carnival, our local carnival, which is really nice. So we have Christmas and Carnival all combined, and there's a lot of togetherness. There's a lot of fetting or partying. There's a lot of food, right? And so it's really, really nice. There's a lot of activities going on. And I know that a lot of people, they, they don't like the combination of the Christmas and Carnival thing, but I really love it. There's lots of people returning home, people that you haven't seen in years, friends, family, what have you. So it's a really exciting time, and I love it. And I also love Christmas because for me, everybody is a bit nicer. I know people always complain about spending all this money and this pressure on getting gifts and all that. And so I wanted to talk to you today about giving, because it doesn't, Christmas, whether you live on St. Kitts, whether you live on our Federation, St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm sorry, whether you live on the Federation or you're overseas, it doesn't have to be about that, right? I just choose to see the good in Christmas. Like I said, everybody is a bit nicer, and I really, really love that. And so today I wanted to bring to you, to share with you some tips about giving, looking at it in a different light. But before I do that, I wanted to recap a story that I recently saw. I think I saw it maybe Friday, or yeah, I think I saw it Friday, right? And it's a story of Tony Robbins. And for those of you who don't know who Tony Robbins is, he is a motivational speaker. He wrote, I remember my first Tony Robbins book was Awaken the Giant Within. Really powerful, really great. He has these retreats all over the world. You can Google him. Actually, maybe I'll put a link down below in this, down below this video. But really great speaker, and he was talking about giving, right? And he said, when you have nothing is when you need to give, right? And so he speaks about this story where he was really down. This was before he was making all this money and he was so popular and famous. And he spoke about only having either $21 or $22 to his name, right? And it was winter, and he had decided that he would go to a nearby all you can eat. And for those of you who've ever visited an all you can eat, you know the food there is very, very cheap, and you can go back as many times as you want. So he had gone there to kind of stock up for the winter. He decided, okay, let me just kind of eat, and I'll eat and I'll eat, and just kind of set myself for the winter. So he had gone and he had done that. And when he was about to leave, he had observed a little boy with his mother, and the little boy was such a gentleman. He opened the door, his mom came in, he sat at this table, he held a chair for his mother, like really, really being sweet and really being a gentleman. And the child was probably about 8 or so. And it really moved him. So when he was leaving, he sort of chatted with the little boy, and he joked and said, "Is that your woman?" And he was like, "No, that's my mom." And he really encouraged him. And then he took what was left of the money that he had, which was about $16 or so, and he gave it to the little boy. Now, Here he is, not knowing where his next meal is coming from, going to the all you can eat to, to stock up for the winter. And here he is just giving everything away. So he gave it away. He said, he didn't think twice about it. He gave it to the little boy because it just felt like the right thing to do, and he encouraged the little boy. So he left, and he said he didn't walk home. It was like he flew home because he did something great, and I'm sure he did something nice, and right and kind. And I'm sure some of you could relate. When you do something from your heart, it just feels good, and that's what he did. So he did that. He went home. When he got home, he received, there was some mail waiting for him. So he got the mail. I think it was the same day, or it was a day after or so. But he got this mail, and it had been from a gentleman who he had loaned $2,100 that had been avoiding him. He was calling this guy saying, listen, I really need the money. The guy was totally avoiding him. And here he is, he got the mail with a check, with the money back and interest. And the guy was apologizing. I said, listen, yes, I have been avoiding you. Here's the money you loan and interest. And it was really, really powerful. It brought tears to my eyes. I am like that. It brought tears to my eyes because here the point is, he gave and he didn't have anything. And that's when he said, when you have nothing is when you need to give. Because if you're trying to wait until, oh, when I have more money, when I have this, when I have whatever, you'll never have it. When you give, it's universal law. When you serve, when you give, it comes back to you tenfold in ways you couldn't imagine. And he said that since that day, he had never been that low. He had never had that amount of scarcity. And so I just wanted to share that with you as a segue into the tips today. And I wanted to take it with you, throughout this season, and throughout your life. Right? When you don't have anything, that's when you need to give. And it doesn't necessarily mean money. Sometimes it could be your time, because time is precious. Time is precious. It could be your knowledge. There could be so many ways that you can give. But let me move on to 3 ways I think that you can give this Christmas. And these are really great ways. Okay, so the first one is, I call it adopt a child or elderly person in your community, right? And you may say, okay, everybody does that. But you can do it 2 ways. You can either do it with a child who is less fortunate in your community. And I always say, start where you are. A lot of the times we feel like we have to give to this person overseas, or these, let's go back to the church thing, because a lot of people give to churches overseas or even their own church. I'm not knocking that, but sometimes you can start where you are. Sometimes you can start in your very own community. You don't have to necessarily put yourself, maybe you don't have the physical amount. You don't have somebody just passed. Maybe you don't have the physical dollars, right? But you can give into somebody in your community. So here's how you can do it. So there could be somebody who just is a little less fortunate than you are. Maybe an elderly person, maybe, they live alone, or, could be they live with their kids, but less fortunate. A child or an elderly person, right? Or you can give to a child who's done well in school. Maybe it doesn't have to be somebody who's less fortunate, but maybe there's a child in your neighborhood who is really nice, who does well in school, who maybe, as we say in the Caribbean, have manners, they pass, they always call out, they just have a great spirit, and you're led, as we say, your spirit take them, right? You can give into that child. You can give a gift to that child for Christmas. You can do that. Whatever the gift is, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be that you said to the parent, listen, I really like the energy and the spirit of your child. What would you like to, is there anything that person needs? I know I think if it's done in the right way, people will accept that, right? So I'm not going to worry about. I don't want to hear. I don't want you looking at this and saying, "Oh, but people are funny," and da, da, da. Forget about that. This is Christmas. Do it in the right spirit, and just feel. Do it to the person who you're drawn to or led to, right? Or you could just say a simple prayer, you know, and ask God to lead you to that person. But I really believe in that. So you can do that to someone who has done well, or an elderly person. Maybe they inspire you. Maybe when you know, as you walk down the road to get the bus or something, they always have a kind word for you. They always tell you how beautiful you look. They always say to you, you know, keep on your head, da da da, whatever. Give to that person. So again, it doesn't have to be someone who's less fortunate than you. It could be someone who gives into your life, because when people feed into your life in whatever form, whether in terms of knowledge or time or anything, that also is acceptable, right? So just think about that. The other way you can give to is partner with a local charity. So here are three ways on our federation, you know, St. Kitts and Nevis, that you can do that. And if you're overseas, obviously there is organizations in your country or your part of the world that you would feel led to give into. So you can give to PALS. So PALS is this local organization, and I think it stands for Pediatric Assistance League or something. I'm messing up the words, but I'll put it down below. But they provide assistance to parents parents of kids who need surgery for, like, and this is major surgery. Maybe they have I've seen kids with tumors growing on their faces. I've seen, yeah, like disability stuff like that, their legs or whatever. They provide funding, so you give into that, and whenever a parent has a need, I guess they apply through PALS, and then they get the money that they need, and they give updates, which I like. Um, they give updates, they post pics of the progress of the child, which is nice, so you can see where that, you know, you don't feel like, you know, they're taking your money, but they do that. And so that's a really great one, and that's one that I give to as well, because the children are our future. And you know, living on the island, we have such limited resources, you know, and if there's an organization and a group who can get a child the help that they need, that is just amazing. So that's a great one. You can also partner with the Rotary. I know at Christmas time and at various times throughout the year, they give to the elderly. They put together hampers and stuff like that, so you can do that as well. um, and this is not an organization, but this is actually the Cardin home, or we call it the old people's home, but it's the Cardin's home, so you may not know the correct name, that's why I'm saying it like that. And so elderly people go there. It's run by the government, I think, but you know, these types of institutions always need help, and this is a way to give back to those organizations. Like, you can get a ham or a turkey for Christmas, take it up there, or you know, I don't know the name of the person who is in charge, but I'll find the name and I'll put it down below, and contact them and just say, you know, I feel led to give this way, and you give, you know, because in giving to these, into your communities, I feel it's like giving to yourself. It comes back in so many ways, and not that you should be looking for something to come back, but it is the right thing to do, right? So these are two ways that you can give. And then the third way is, and I would encourage this, is at work. So if you are a manager or supervisor, your team has held you, they make you look good. You could not be successful without your team, right? So give into your team. A lot of business places give bonuses, but I could tell anybody from a HR perspective that money only goes so far. A lot of people feel that money is everything. Money isn't everything. You could be in a job that is paying you what you want and even more beyond your wildest expectations. But if the environment isn't right, if it isn't, if your heart isn't in it, it's not a job that you're gonna stay in long, hands down. But people feel like money is everything, so there are bonuses. But aside from the bonus, your team has held you. You can give them a gift card, or you can write them a nice Christmas note, or do something together with the team. Take them for a nice lunch or dinner or breakfast. You know, a lot of the times we do dinners like a team breakfast. Take them for breakfast, right? So do that and show appreciation to the team that has held you and made your department or your business place successful. You know, do that. That's something great to do. And if you're a small business, um, you may not have the funds to be extravagant, but that's why I said breakfast. Breakfast is usually less expensive. So take them for breakfast. Feed into your team, give back into your team. And if you are an employee and there is someone in your organization that was really there for you, that really inspired you, maybe it's not your manager, maybe it's somebody in another department, maybe it's another coworker that has got your back, give in to them, give them something, show your appreciation, right? And so these are just 3 ways in which you can give this Christmas without feeling like, oh, the pressure and all of that. Christmas is a really nice time. It's a really great time. The history and the story behind it, it's lovely. And I choose to see the positive in it. As you can tell, I am a positive person, and I choose to do that. I choose to see that because people are a little bit much more nicer. They're a lot more nicer. So do that, and I'll recap. So let me just recap. So you can adopt a child or an elderly person in your community. Doesn't have to be less fortunate. The person can be inspiring for you or to you. You know, so you give back to those. You partner with a local charity. I'll list the charities below, and give back to your team. Your team has held you, they have supported you. You know, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, if you are an employee, you give back to the person who has got your back at work, who has inspired you, who has imparted knowledge to you. So these are just 3 ways in which you can give back this season. And trust me, share this video because it's different, and you won't feel that pressure and get caught up in all this retail and buying. And you know, it's good. It's doing and planting a good seed. So send me your thoughts on this. Send me a DM, WhatsApp, comment below. Many of you are shy. You when you see me, you let me know what your thoughts are about the videos, which are all really great, and I really appreciate it. But let me know. And as always, if you'd like for us to work together, for me to coach you, you can send me an email at hellowaveme@thepeoplebrandskn.com. I'd love to work with you. So I'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in as always, and share this video. Bye.